coming up later in the show, I want to talk about Lane Kiffin because as a professional, that man disgusts me. He really, really disgusts me. And what he pulled off in the game against Hawaii the other night, it really showed how much of a punk he is. And why nobody likes him. Or, forget like, because you don't need to be liked. Nobody respects him. Nobody respects that man. Talk more about that momentarily. TCU. Now, I said in the last segment, there's basically no way that you're going to have two mid-majors in the national championship game. Since in the preseason polls that Boise State is ahead of TCU, since they're ahead, then there's really no chance that TCU will leapfrog, and no point intended on the Horned Frogs. There's no way they will leapfrog Boise State unless Boise State themselves slipped up. Now, TCU's schedule is a bit tougher than Boise State's. They handled their business last night against Oregon State. However, even though it's a bit tougher than Boise State, it's nowhere near as close as tough as a Florida schedule or an Ohio State schedule or a Texas schedule, Alabama schedule. They have, let's look here. I'm trying to find a tough school, but I'm looking at schools such as Tennessee Tech, Baylor, Southern Methodist, Colorado State, Wyoming. Okay, here's one. BYU. BYU wants to become an independent. I know. Should be a tough game. Except, well, currently at the moment, BYU is, I don't know. They're unranked. They're unranked. You got the Air Force, UNLV. Okay, Utah. Their toughest opponent is Utah. Now, the good thing right now for TCU, the great thing is with having Utah on the schedule, and this will be the last year that they will permanently have Utah on the schedule because Utah will be moving from the Mountain West to the Pac-10 next season. The good thing about having Utah on the schedule for TCU is that Utah upset Pittsburgh this past Thursday night. They had an upset win against Pittsburgh. And having upset wins against ranked opponents gives you, it gives you an advantage. So that TCU, how good would they look if Utah, which will probably be ranked pretty soon by the time they face them, and they just so happen to defeat TCU. That is going to be a big game. That is going to be a big game when the time comes for that contest, Week 10 of college football season on November 6th. That, by November 6th, that's going to be a bigger game than it is right now on September 5th. Okay? TCU, again, like I said, they have to rely on Boise State to lose. It's unfortunate, but they have to. It doesn't, they have to lose. It doesn't matter what any of the other, obviously, Alabama, Ohio State, obviously will have to fall as well, being that they're in the top two right now. And if they ran the table, they deserve to be in the national championship game. They have to rely on those teams to fall. But TCU, again, like I said about Boise State, TCU has to, they have to prove themselves. Now, the good thing about TCU is that with them being in the Mountain West now has an automatic bid to the BCS. It's good now. They have an automatic bid. So that helps, though. It does. And actually, next year, TCU and Boise State will be in the same conference. They'll be in the same conference. So, next year, there will be no doubt on who will be the best mid-major school. It's really, really, really a great thing in college sports, football, and you see it more, even more in basketball with NCAA March Madness tournaments. It's always a good thing when you see mid-majors doing well. I mean, let's face it. If the season went the way that the experts predicted, and having the powerhouses always dominate, that's not fun. That's not fun. But having a mix of new faces, having Boise State, having TCU, Utah will probably come into frame as the season progresses. As you have BYU may come into frame. You have all of these mixes, and it creates interest in the game. It's time now. Actually, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I will tell you who I think will be in the national championship game come January. I'll have that for you next.